State lawmakers are expected to convene in Santa Fe on May 24th. That'd be next Wednesday for a special legislative session. Governor Martinez called lawmakers back for the session to renegotiate a state budget. Ms. Martinez vetoed the budget passed this year during the regular 60-day session. She also vetoed funding for the legislative branch and higher education, as you know. Now, what do you hope lawmakers will accomplish during this special? What will you be watching as lawmakers discuss the state budget? Get in touch with us here at NewMexicoInFocus.org. Our line opinion panelists are ready to weigh in on the special session. I'm joined this week by former state rep Janice Arnold-Jones, former state senator Dee Dee Feldman, Tom Garrity from the Garrity Group PR, and Laura Sanchez-Rivas. She's an attorney at Cuddy and McCarthy LLP. Now, Janice, of the many elephants in the room, let's start with this one. Did we really need a special? I want to just kind of cover some broad territory here. Why are we here? Why are we at this point with this special, and what do you expect to come out of it?
I actually expect that where the budget was at the end of the session that was vetoed will probably be back mostly intact.
Okay.
Because there has been no progress towards setting any additional priorities.
Right.
So I don't see any huge shifts. I also do not see
progress on whose end, legislative end or the governor's office, or both?
I don't know. It appears to me nobody's talking. And that's really problematic. I don't have any firsthand information that anybody's talking to anybody. I hope they are. I truly hope they are, because it is complex. I would like, if we're going to do tax reform, for goodness sakes, I hope we're talking, because I did a little cheat sheet here.
That's right.
Very simplifies. It's not simple. And it will take a lot of agreement, because I promise you, if you do tax reform right, everybody's ox will be gored, everybody will be mad. And mostly the taxpayers will be happy.
That's a good point. By the way, do you mind if we put that cheat sheet up on our website?
Oh, sure.
Okay, that'd be great for viewers to look at too, because it's very informative. Tom, interestingly, we've got the governor taking another crack at getting at the legislators' retirement fund to the tune of $12.5 million now, and we've got a bit of a problem here, because the wording as passed by us back in 1998 as constitutionally seems pretty clear that you cannot touch this thing. Where do you think the administration is coming from on this?
It's a smoke screen. It's something to get people distracted, because it's like, oh, well, we're going to, eliminate all of the higher education department budget. There you go.
Got everyone's attention.
That's very unreasonable just to get attention. So that's why I think it is. It's clearly not going to pass muster with the Supreme Court if for some reason it does make it through.
So in your view, it is unconstitutional what this administration wants to do with this money.
Correct, yeah, because it's technically it's an entitlement.
Right.
At least that's the way that I read it and such. So, but again, it's a smokescreen. It's taking us off of focus from talking about the opportunities that really exist here with this special session. And I think that with the projections coming in, and the projections appear to be a little bit more favorable than they were about 6 months ago. That's a very good sign. A lot of the pressure is off, but I think this is a great opportunity to go back and take a swipe at tax reform, because the pressure isn't quite as great with at least the budget appearing to be at a neutral position. So I think this is a great opportunity. I kind of laughed a little bit when I heard you guys talking about there's nobody's talking. Well, in stark contrast, we're usually here going, everybody's talking behind the scenes.
That's right.
And so I think it'll be very interesting come Wednesday.
Interesting. Dee Dee, I have to imagine, based on what these guys are saying, even Republicans are a bit in the dark, outside of Nate Gentry, but they're a bit in the dark about what to expect. And my question is, I want you to touch on PERA, but in the bigger sense, are we being set up for failure here on this special?
Well, this is government by hyperbole.
Right.
I mean, first you have the governor and wiping out all funding for higher ed and for the legislature, and then the ante is up by the legislature suing, and then the court tossing it back. And there we are back at square one, but the ante has been upped, and so I don't see anybody talking to one another, except maybe the Republican caucus in the House is talking to one another.
Not even? No, Janice?
But, there needs to be, I agree with Janice. I think we're going to come out with a budget that was very similar to the one that was sent up earlier.
Right.
And I think it's possible that the result could be the same, although the governor once again is sending mixed signals saying that maybe she will do tax on food. Maybe she will do some of the items in Jason Harper's bill, but nobody has anything to hang their hat on.
Right.
And to begin with, everybody is waiting for the other guy to suggest what cuts should be made. And usually the governor has a proposal, at least in every session special session that I've been in.
Right.
You start with the governor's call and the governor's proposal.
Right.
And we don't have a proposal from the governor.
It's an interesting little book you have in your left hand there. What is
Yeah.
that little thing? The Constitution of the State of New Mexico.
Yeah,
I
this
see a
is-
bookmark. What have you got there?
This is regarding the the idea of rating the legislative retirement fund, and I have to say that I'm a beneficiary of the legislative retirement fund as a disclaimer, but this is unconstitutional. And what has been done in the past is something quite different from what is being proposed now, and that is when stuff is going into the legislative fund, then there has been a swap that has happened where the part that the government pays, the state worker and then the government itself, they do a match, and that's what goes into the pension fund. And the solvency of these pension funds is something that we should consider also. But in the past, the state part has not gone into the fund, but it's gone into the general fund, and the state worker has then had to pay that portion. So it is in effect, and we did this in 2009, it is a cut to the salaries and wages of state workers.
That's a fair way to put it, considering you don't get a salary. So this is the other end of it. You put your time in serving our state, you get some retirement. It just seems like but the language, I'm going to go to Laura on this, the language out of the administrations is interesting when pressed about the constitutionality of it. I'm assuming this passes for a legal opinion, but they say it's absurd. That's the quote. It's interesting to me. And then
That's what the spokesperson said.
Right, exactly
I don't know
right.
that person's a lawyer, but
Right.
He is.
that's unfortunate because
Yep.
it's pretty clear, to say it's absurd. First of all, legislators don't get paid.
Right.
So there seems to be this approach from the governor's office and her staff to sort of use a stick approach when it comes to negotiations by attacking the legislature right out of the gate. When they get full salaries, her staff gets a full salary.
That's right.
She
Thank
gets
you
a
for
full
saying
salary
that.
for the job she does. Legislators do not get a full salary for all the work that they do. They get per diem, and they are expected to do a lot of work that they're not compensated for. So this, this retirement is one of the only things that they get. In 2016, there had already been an approval to reduce the state match, the state amount that goes into the monthly amount that goes into their accounts.
Big reduction.
A big reduction.
That's
It went
right.
from $200,000 a month to $75,000 a month, which resulted in a difference from 2.4 million annually down to 900,000 annually. So and we're talking about a pension fund. We're talking about a retirement fund, a government qualified retirement plan under the IRS code. And those rules are very strict about what qualifies and what doesn't qualify. These kinds of, we're going to suddenly take money out of this plan to use it for something else, it's not legal. I mean, it's not only unconstitutional, you're going to get into serious hot water with the IRS in terms of the retirement code in doing something like that. You just can't rate a fund in
And
that
all
way.
of this over a lousy, I hate to be flip about this, but a lousy $12.5 million. That's not going to balance our problems here. Why all this, Janice, all this noise and dust over $12.5 million? It's
Well, I
incredible.
would say so beforehand when we were certainly in a deficit position, and I get that the governor is truly trying to beef up the reserves, and I think that is really important. But I'm with you, I am baffled at the hyperbole about going after the legislature. And I do want to say that every legislator who serves, if they don't serve a minimum of 6 years, they're not part of this retirement
they're not
system.
vested.
And if you think
Important point.
that,
Thank
that
you.
it's a lot, it is a little bit. It is a little bit. And I think that's a nice thing. But for the governor to say she is the only one standing in between the New Mexico taxpayers and $350 million in tax increases, it's just, I think people have just said, nah, I can't buy this. This
right.
just doesn't make any
Let me
sense.
swing back to Lauren this one. I ask again, are we being set up for failure here? Because I can see a scenario where the day before or the morning of, Democrats just have to say, here, like Dee Dee mentioned, here it is again. The governor just to say, here's my end again. And by that afternoon, everyone's making at a press conference saying, we're at an impasse, folks. We're gonna let the courts figure it out before we proceed. Can you see something
I just
like
don't.
that happen?
I don't see this 12.5 million
Okay.
coming from the retirement fund being a realistic approach. And I think that it's not going to get through the legislature. If it somehow does get through the legislature, it's going to be stopped by the courts.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be fairly easy to
Yeah.
challenge this. It isn't like some of the other lawsuits that we have seen recently, where there's a question about executive sort of different branches of government and the decisions that they've made, and kind of some. I mean, I would agree that even with the vetoes, that was an issue in this last session. There was some interpretation that was required in terms of the language in state law and in the Constitution. In this case, it's pretty clear. And we're also talking about IRS code. There's not a lot of
that's right.
wiggle room when it
That's right.
comes to the IRS
It's
code.
unambiguous.
Do we
as
want to
they
talk
say.
about those ERISA violations in the earlier
Oh,
proposals?
exactly.
That's right.
Well,
Let me
I have
finish with
two
Tom.
words.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Sine die.
Well, there you go. Right.
It
Just let
has
it-
happened before
Right.
when it appears to be an impasse, and if the Republicans are unwilling to override the veto and unwilling to call an extraordinary session where other approaches could be considered, the Senate in the past, even during the same special session, has decided to go home twice
Yes.
Right.
while the House keeps working along. And so, I hope that doesn't happen. But I don't see that we're headed in a constructive direction here.
Got to stop it there. Sorry, guys. We'll have to end it. Up next on the line, we discuss recent reports on the number of crashes that police officers here in Albuquerque have been involved with throughout the city in the past year.